Guys, what up? Before we jump into today's video, I gotta shout out my dude Brandon. He is killing it on this fiberglass 2F stuff. I keep breaking bumpers, side skirts, front bumpers. This is Brandon.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Brandon, we were talking about so obviously you're fixing all the bullshit I break.
Yeah, old bumpers, new bumpers.
Old bumpers, new bumpers. We even had our tabs here that got ripped off. And then Brandon went in and made some fiberglass. But yeah, dude, I wanted to see if you were able to give us some insight on like, if you had to do like just bulletin points, like step 1, 2, 3, 4, like how are you fixing all this shit?
So I mean, step 1, got to start with the resin of the fiberglass.
Yeah.
Always lay some resin down before you lay the fiberglass, just so it sticks, and then dab it on top. You got to do everything quick too. After you get a good strong layer of fiberglass, then you want to go onto the Bondo, and the Bondo you got to be even faster. That one, I mean, you're going to be filling in gaps. It's just body filler. You really want to get more fiberglass on than Bondo because Bondo's pretty heavy. But then yeah, once you got it all filled in, just keep sanding down until it's smooth. If you see little holes, Bondo again until it's completely smooth.
Hell yeah. So this step here, where are we at like on this one?
So I haven't sanded that down at all yet. That's first coat of Bondo, but I tried to make sure that I got in every deep spot I could.
Yeah.
So I don't have to Bondo multiple times, but
yeah,
it is going to be thick, so it's still going to take a little bit to sand, but it'll be alright.
Hell yeah. That's badass, dude. So let us know if you guys want to know more about this. I'm sure I'm going to break another bumper, and then maybe we'll do a full video on like Brandon's process. But yeah, dude, super grateful for him. He's fucking killing it. Shout out Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, dog. All right, guys. Whew, a lot of updates. Me and Adrian are here, and we're gonna do our best to update you guys on the car currently. Obviously, you know, we had some issues at Klutch Kickers, and we were trying to figure them out. The journey continues. Let's dial some shit in. A little recap here. We got some body panels, got some WiseFab, power steering, ECU, fuel cell, radiator, a lot of updates. Let's go. So I think we'll start with the front WiseFab setup. We had an old setup on here that had been around for maybe like since 2016 or 17. So kind of another example of just like how long some things can last and work. But Adrian took this apart and wanted to pick his brain on like how it went.
So we looked at all of your components for the last couple events. The front was like wobbling a little bit, so me and Dad were trying to figure out what was wrong with it, and so I pulled everything apart while we were doing this whole overhaul anyways, and I found some stuff. Basically, this whole arm failed, this heim joint failed, this heim joint failed, this heim joint failed, and this wheel bearing failed.
So we're talking about when I'm driving, sometimes you'll notice in some clips like the wheel has quite a bit of play, and we kind of kept trying to figure out where that was coming from. And then even in some clips you could see like the front wheel actually kind of like shaking a bit, yeah, vibrating. So yeah, Adrian is saying this is some loose goose stuff here. These should be really hard to move.
These two, the tie rod ends.
Tie rod ends.
It's a lot of play.
So what do you think, Adrian? Like, why just drift cars are rough? Like, why does that shit happen?
It's a heim joint, so no matter what, it'll end up failing.
But the good news is, thank you to Odie. We had Odie kind of, if you guys don't know, Odie Bachis. He's a Formula Drift Pro driver. And through him, you can order the newest WiseFab stuff, which is what we did. So in that case, we installed the new stuff. Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Comparing the old one, we have a lot more adjustment. So we have this arm that can help with our caster in case of an accident or something. And then we have a new updated knuckle. It doesn't have a stopper in the front, so I guess you have more angle. Up front, or up top, we have the top hat. And in case of a collision as well, basically it's got something on top of here that you can adjust for more caster,
yeah.
if you need a quick fix.
Not sure if I'm right if I say you're not really supposed to use it, but if you're in a crunch, you can use it. I think everything is kind of meant to be adjusted down here like normal, but I heard through the grapevine, that's just a quick fix if you need it. Boom. So it looks beefier for sure. And then yeah, you got your bump stop adjustments, you got your new tie rods, you have a new caster adjustment here. Like we were saying, this is just fixed on the old one, so now it's cool to be able to have an adjustment. Obviously the BC shock bolted right up, the new top hat. Here's where you can see the adjustment. So this was something that we were actually preparing for during the off season, but it's just a good time to do it. So we have a spare kit, thank you to Odie, and we just put on the new kit. Let's move on. Yeah. All right guys, you're looking at a S13 OEM, but fully rebuilt steering rack. Built by Josh McGuire at JM63. Shout out Josh. He's pretty rad, dude. I think he builds the internals, and then also will color them or have them powder coated for you. So Adrian, tell us about it. Do these lines come with it? Are they optional?
Yeah, so these lines come with it. Actually, I think you can order them with or without them.
Yeah.
Like your other set, I don't think has lines. You can't see it now because it's all messed up, but I think right here, this end of the rack was loose. So I think your dad was right. Whenever the car was also wobbling, there was play in the rack itself.
Yeah.
On the new rack that we just installed, it's really hard to turn. So it makes it a little bit more promising to have.
So this is the new one that we just had put in. Super fresh colorway here. Just to give a little more insight, this is Bink's front cross member. So Bink Industries, Nate over there, he delivers these ready to drop in. Your rack has a little clamp, 2 clamps, and then she plugs right in. Obviously, power steering lines, hard lines here, and yeah, dude, looks good. I would say we didn't really have any crazy issues with it, but drift cars are just gnarly on parts, dude. And so, like Adrian was saying, we had a very small leak. So between the small leak in the power steering and the Wisefab being kind of so old, we didn't know which one was the issue. So it's, again, just a good time to fix it. So thank you to Josh, we had another one and we just swapped it. So we're kind of going from the front to the back of the car. Let's talk about the next thing. Got this crazy simple engine harness, and this right here, alternator. This was the issue that I think kind of was the most unknown out of the whole last race. So basically, we had our alternator spike in power, which essentially was like a lightning bolt to the entire car. And that's where you guys seen us trying to change every sensor and plug and wire and anyways.
We bricked this thing.
This is Holley HP ECU. I've had this exact unit in since 2015. In the previous edit, we were kind of talking how consistent that a 6+ year-old drift car can be, and now look at us, right? So thanks to Holley, we already, boom, like almost overnight, have a new engine harness. Here she is. So Adrian, tell us about it. Was there a bunch of, like, what are we gonna have to do?
It's pretty much plug and play. We just have some updated connectors that we need to have
Like match
adapters for, or to hardwire or something. We just have to figure out how we're gonna get that. Because they're just a little bit different. There's only a few things. Like the map sensor is different than this map sensor.
But everything is coming in labeled, as you guys can see. Some things are slightly different, like Adrian's saying. Obviously, it's kind of our job to catch up to the times. So basically, from 2016 to 2021, a few things have changed. They make adapters. We got to get some shit on order.
It's the order adapter. Nice. And there's only a few things. Like the map sensor is different than this map sensor.
But everything is coming in labeled, as you guys can see. Some things are slightly different, like Adrian's saying. Obviously, it's kind of our job to catch up to the times. So basically, from 2016 to 2021, a few things have changed. They make adapters. We got to get some shit on order. But for the most part, 90% of it is good to go.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's all in the same areas. We just have to zip tie some stuff so they go the right direction.
Yep. But yeah, dude, I think that this was the gnarliest part. We had found out kind of at the last day, at the last moment, when I was battling Troy, that our injectors were not getting proper power, our coil packs weren't getting proper power. It was just kind of a nightmare. So this is the root cause of why we're breaking everything down. This is kind of the same type of breakdown we would do during the off season. We've got about 2 weeks ahead of us to get it done. So we're on the grind. Let's keep it moving. Boom. You guys have never seen it like this, man. So this is basically the bulkhead torn apart. We also went ahead and pulled the fuel cell. We also have our radiator, which is why we pulled the fuel cell. And also, we rebuilt this at the track. So Adrian really wanted to take time and look over it again. Things are hectic at the track. And so yeah, we gutted the fuel cell. Check it out. So this is a Fuel Safe's fuel cell. This is a 12-gallon tank. Maybe a little bit of overkill these days, but with grid lights and certain other events, it works really well because there's times where you need a little bit more fuel, right? So anyways, part number, shout out.
So for anyone that doesn't know, there's your feed fuel pump that will feed fuel to your, I guess, what do you want to call it, surge tank?
Yep.
And then you got 2 fuel pumps in here. You can run 3 if you wanted to, but 2 go in here, and we replaced these at the track. We left this one because we knew it worked, but it's also really dirty, so we probably need to replace it before our next event. And then we have this really old school, we should talk about this.
Yes.
Super old school gauge that kind of moves up and down as a float. And what was happening was it was getting caught. Say it's in here like this, it's getting caught on the foam and giving us false, basically fuel gauged.
Yep.
And we would overfill it, it would come out of this guy, and that's where your fires came from.
Boom! Yeah, we found some interesting stuff at the very, very bottom of the tank. Obviously the foam was breaking down, and yeah, dude, so there was some bolts in it. Adrian literally kept these fuel breaking down, bolts in there. Shit's hectic, dude, so it's kind of gnarly. There's a lot going on, but I'm super happy we're doing this, dude.
And that should stay in for about 2 years max.
And how long was it in for?
6 years.
Jesus.
We have a new electric digital gauged fuel gauge, so that way it doesn't break. It's all inline, so it can't get caught on our fuel foam, and it'll be a lot more reliable for us. Besides that, I think we just need another fuel pump and redo these lines, and we're gonna relocate this vent so we don't get caught on fire anymore.
Yeah. That one more time. So on that vent, what Adrian's explaining is you'd fill the fuel up. We would basically not have the gauge working because it was stuck on foam. So Dad or me or whoever would just fill it up to where we got enough fuel in it. The fuel would breathe out of this line and basically be running right over the exhaust, which would then catch the car on fire. Coleman has a beautiful video right here. So anyways, that shit is dangerous, but we're gonna fix all of that. All right, anyways, let's move on to what will be one of the more technical processes. We reached out to Stuart Leask at Leask Performance, I think it is, Leask Spec. That's what it is, Leask Spec. Sorry, Stu. But anyways, the damaged radiator. Y'all ready? So we had Obviously the inlet torn off. You guys kind of know the story. Fans are broke, everything is pretty ghetto. I had already been eyeing up a CNR, which now is I guess PWR radiator. They make a, what's it called? Universal, yes, universal drift. What is it, Adrian?
It's a universal drift radiator module. That's what it's called.
Let's break into this thing.
Right.
So in the car right now is a CNR radiator. My old fabricator bub, meaning just previous fabricator bub, had worked with CNR to specifically build this. And then I think also through Adam LZ, he was working through bub with CNR. And long story short, they created a actual drift radiator. So this is the first time I called them. They were 11 weeks out. I started sweating even more than I am now. And I asked very nicely if there was a way to get it done sooner. Obviously, you pay to play. We got it done sooner. Whoa.
Holy shit. That thing's pretty massive.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
Talk about this side.
What? Oh my. Bro, that's insane. Look at this thing.
Man, this is
Holy
like an intercooler.
Yeah, and my current radiator is, you know, a few inches thick versus this dude is nice and fat. Think it's gonna fit?
It'll be tough. 31. So it's a hair
Wider.
wider.
So it's 33 on the new one,
Yeah.
and then 15 on the height versus the 14,
Yeah.
and then 2 more inches wider,
Yeah.
right? All right, cool, super impressed. CNR, excited. Stu, excited for you to put this thing in the car. Let's keep it moving. Next project. All right, as if that wasn't enough things going on, we're also redoing the 2F body kit.
He gave away our bumper.
That is true, dude. Ben Hobson's using my front bumper to the T, dude. He needed to look good. He only had a small timeline, and I knew I had a few minutes, so I gave it to Ben. With that being said, check this out. Boom. I thought it'd be cool to shout out 2F. This is the S14 front bumper, which obviously we run. This is the S13 LFCs is what they call it. So you have your left side, obviously your right side, they connect. Adrian, let's talk about fiberglass and shit. How's it look?
It looks pretty good. The fit and finish is really nice. It just has some of these, I guess, scrubs on them that will make sure it's good for wrap.
Yeah.
And then we just gotta trim this up. Basically from here down, we'll trim, and then we'll gut all this out.
Yep.
That way, it can fit on the track.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So when we just plug these in, my front caster kind of binds with the front bumper. So yeah, Adrian's saying we ended up cutting down maybe like 2 inches here, quite a bit, honestly, for clearance. But on the overs, we don't do anything.
Nope.
We don't do anything to these, dude. This is the cleanest, easiest stuff I've ever used. And as I shatter them, as you can see, somewhere over here, this one's torn apart. The back end got blasted. Thank you to 2F. Oh, Adrian getting cool out here. It's hot, dude. It's hot in the shop. But anyways, really, we just wanted to give you guys an update. In the very beginning of the video, you've seen Brandon grinding away at all of this. So shout out to him for really putting in work. Texas, it's warm. But yeah, we wanted to give you guys an update on the car. Consistent on the Friday at 144 edits. Hope you enjoy it. And then I think we're gonna try to move into some bi-weeklies once we get the car back, because we have a ton of products to talk about, a ton of shit on the way that's gonna be important, and we can kind of walk you guys through it getting done. But with that being said, we've worked our asses off all day. Let's go home.
Yeah, let's go.
Hope you guys enjoyed this edit. Later.